Congratulations, you're watching another episode of Epic Sketch Time. My name is Mark Monlix. I live in Tacoma, Washington, and I make my living as a freelance illustrator and cartoonist. Some of my books are The Comic Critic Presents Seldom Seen Films and The Comic Critic Presents Blockbusters. And who's with me today?
I'm Bill Morris. I'm a cartoonist and illustrator from Seattle, Washington, and I do a webcomic called Rhapsodies.
My name is Pat McEwen. I draw a comic by the name of The Devil and Mr. Gandhi. You can read it at devilandgandhi.com.
Gentlemen, what are some of the projects you're going to be working on today?
Well, I have two things. I'm finishing up some stock art that I was in the middle of before the bell rang for this to start, and then I'm also working on a character design for based on a tarot card.
Well, that's weird because I am also working on a tarot card design project.
Bill, tell everyone why you're working on your particular project.
Well, I participate in a group called the Character Design Challenge. It's I recommend that they started out as a way of a very useful reference on Pinterest, and they broadened up to started doing monthly challenges on various topics. And this month, last month it was Egyptian gods. A few months ago it was Game of Thrones, chef, Maori warriors, etc. This month it is Major Arcana on tarot decks. So I'm opening it up right now to show you what I have thus far. So here it is right now. I'm about a quarter through with the inking. I'm mostly happy with it, though I'm debating with myself whether it'll work. I'm wondering if I want to have the sun part of the sun in gold lines to contrast from the rest of it, or if going black outlines like I always do will do the trick. But anyway, that's where it is thus far. So what's the purpose behind your tarot deck?
My brother does a my brother's an actor and voice actor, and one of his side projects is a kind of a character by the name of Stu Chatterley, who is a psychic medium. And so this will have something to do with him doing a tarot card reading, but I'm going to put his kind of likeness onto the card and change things around a bit.
Right. Okay.
Sorry about that, gentlemen.
Gentlemen,
Ooh.
who walked in?
I had a business line phone call I had to take, so I went offline for a moment there.
Mm-hmm.
And I need to spend a few moments to check the Google account to see if anyone else added wanted to be invited in. Oh, that's my wife texting me. Hello, Phil.
Hi, Mark.
Well, Phil, everybody else has had a chance to introduce themselves. Why don't you go ahead and introduce yourself and tell people what type of project you'll be working on today?
Well, actually, so I'm Phil Bakler. I live in New Jersey. I'm on the IFVP board, and I'm teaching a summer course on visual practice right now, and with 8 graduate students and 6 undergrads. And so I can show you some of the stuff we're doing. And I'm working on a refugee project with whiteboard animation, actually. So, but yeah, I figured I'd just visit in and see what's up tonight.
Phil, can you tell people what IFVP stands for?
The International Forum of Visual Practitioners. So it's the organization formed some years ago to try to gather people for a conference on visual practice and graphic recording, graphic facilitation. And we continue to have, we had our 22nd annual conference recently. Next year, we're going to be in Denmark. If anybody wants to go to Denmark, it's going to be exciting. And we have people all over the world. I was with people from Moscow, China, Argentina, Brazil, Finland, Spain. So it's all people who do graphic recording, graphic facilitation.
I joined the IFVP, I think, 5 or 6 years ago.
Yeah, you've been an asset to us, Mark.
I didn't make it to this year's convention, and my wife is intrigued about next year's convention, so who knows what might happen.
There you go. Yeah, Runstegard.
Oh.
Denmark, where the to be or not to be was spoken.
Ah.
So the theme is to draw or not to draw. That is the question.
Well, I'm sure that I know that we have quite the European contingent. They're probably going to love the fact that they don't have to fly all the way to the States.
Yes, they're very happy about this. So.
And Neuland's what? Neuland's
was
right there in Germany. So, by the way, Neuland is a marker manufacturer, and they make these really big, fat tip markers.
Right.
Most of the people who watch us use what is it? Copenor markers.
OPEX.
OPEX.
Oh. No, the Neuland are great for the graphic recording, graphic facilitation folks, because we're drawing live on the wall mostly.
And like the Copic markers, Neulands are refillable.
Yeah.
Which is crucial because you just go through the ink like crazy on those things.
I'm going to mute myself and just listen in for a little bit, Mark.
Okay. I'm still in the process of pulling up the file that I'm going to be working on today so I can start sharing that. And I also need to double check to see if there's somebody else who wanted in on this group that responded to the Google invite. First, I'm going to pull up a graphic. So, can you guys guess the Alien, the movie from this Alien?
Let's see. I don't know many aliens with loud floral shirts, so.
Oh, sorry. Thank you, Bill, for that subtle reminder there.
It came from Tacoma.
There we go.
Oh, I think I do know this one. This is one of the child aliens from. What was it was one of Spielberg's or Spielberg knockout. Was it Travelers or Voyagers?
You are so close. I'm going to give it to you. It's from Explorers.
Uh-huh.
Very good, Bill. Now opening up our Google invite to see if there was anyone there. Yes, Suzanne Martin. Okay, Suzanne, I'm really sorry that I've taken so long to invite you in. Let me see what I can do here. Oh, now here's a difficulty I often face. There are multiple Susan Martin, and I don't know which one's the right one to invite into the group. Let me see if I can. Resolve that issue. Now, I'm going to send out a Twitter. Now I'm going to go see if I can help out Susan get into this group. What did you guys do over the weekend?
Pretty much office work, and saw the first episode of Game of Thrones.
Oh, sorry about that, gentlemen. I'm going to put my Self on mute for the time being. I was a telemarketer. Oh, and Susan apparently is in Tacoma here. Susan, if you're watching, I'm having difficulty adding you because there are too many other Susan Martins around. You can send me via Twitter or another message. Send me your Gmail address because your profile's not cutting it here for me. Maybe now that I've added her to some groups, I can get her to join. Let's try that. And she also doesn't have an image in her profile picture, and that's not helping. Because at least that way I know I'm getting the right Susan Martin rather than a simple. Well, let's try this person. Hopefully that did the trick and she'll come in if she hasn't abandoned us by now because it's already 4:45.
Maybe she would. That used back when I had more technical difficulties. That was virtually the average for me.
One of the things I have since learned is I used to tell people to go to their Google Plus profile page and pull that open. But Google has since rearranged things, and if you just go to your and open up the Hangout on its separate tab, you can usually get the announcement straight away. I have been using HBO's free week last week to catch up on watching season 6 of Game of Thrones, and I'm still not caught up all the way.
Oh, I should have. I wish I'd known about it because I talk about being behind. I pretty much missed all of season 6.
I did go out and see War for the Planet of the Apes.
Oh, what'd you think? The one person I talked to had seen it didn't like it, but I don't think he was really its target audience.
Oh, why not?
Oh, he was sort of going on about it was pretty much just a pastiche of Apocalypse Now and didn't get any of the plot.
I would give it an 8, but then I've been in love with the franchise since the very beginning. And the person I went to see the movie with, we were watching the preview for the new Blade Runner film. And And he confessed that he had not seen the original Blade Runner film, but he was all for going to see this movie. And I'm thinking, how can you possibly go to this movie without seeing the classic and really enjoying all the tropes that come in before? But apparently he had not seen, other than this new series of Planet of the Apes movies, the only Planet of the Apes movie that he's seen was the first original one.
Really?
Yeah, so he wasn't getting any of the inside jokes or tropes that were popping up in this movie that were paying homage to the second movie. Because this movie really had a lot of fun harking back to the second movie of the original series.
So there was so what? There was a cult worshiping an A-bomb, or?
Bill, would I spoil any movie for you?
Occasionally. Well, I was very pleased with my pick this week. So.
Oh, what movies did you decide to pick up? Or are we talking about the movies you picked up last week?
Last week. I'm still thinking about this week.
Well, I already know the two movies that you picked out, so you better tell the group if you want them to know.
Sword of Doom and Kiri. They were both very good, but I liked Harikiri the best. There's some really good camera angles for the climax.
I've been having a little bit of client difficulty this morning. A conglomerate that I do work for here in Tacoma wanted to do some quick screen capture videos to do some instructions, and that seemed fairly easy enough to do. And then they wanted to first do it from the vendor's perspective, so being a vendor, they thought I'd be the perfect guy. So I wrote up a fairly lengthy script after doing a test run and discovering what it was that I was curious about the application. Sent them this off to the gal in charge, who's in accounting, who's the one who wants to have this so that she can send it off to her vendors. And then not long into the meeting, she says, well, I also want to have video from the inside the corporation point of view. And so my other contact, who said, oh yeah, that sounds great. I'll work with you on that. So I've done all this research on tracking down what type of software they should use, because they're running on Windows rather than something else. And everyone I was asking was giving me this elaborate software, and I'm saying, no, you can't use elaborate software. These guys need something really test. So after finally found the software called Snagit. And now my guy inside that group doesn't want to do the videos because he doesn't want to show anybody anywhere that he's spending any money for his department.
That doesn't.
Which apparently this didn't occur to him earlier when he agreed to do it. So. So the whole project just might be snafu'd at this point. I'm trying to convince, or rather, I was trying to suggest to him that accounting set up a bogus vendor that I can act as a bogus vendor, send in bogus invoice statements, but that might just cause a quagmire in their system. So who knows what will happen. It's a client that, and I'm sure several of you guys have this, that a client that doesn't know what they want until they see it,
Mm-hmm.
or how to respond to something until they have it in hand. In this case, the response was, "Oh, well, maybe we don't want to do this."
It's 5 o'clock.
And I think we lost Phil.
What?
I said Phil had to leave at 8 o'clock. He said.
Sorry, I'm going. What are you talking about? I'm still here. It's
So, Pat, what show are you watching, or do you not have any time for the boob tube these days?
Oh, I was very excited to watch Game of Thrones. I'd say I'm pretty invested in that show by this point. For reasons unknown, my cable provider decided that I should get like half a year of free HBO, so I'm taking every advantage of that basically.
I'm very curious to see Westworld. Have you become invested in that show as well, or is it just not up your stream?
No, I really like that. And I'm confused as to exactly what they'll be doing for a season 2. But we'll find out, I guess.
I have yet to see any episodes. So I'm dying, absolutely dying. I saw the original movie, and the sequel to Westworld was better than the first movie.
I could see that.
There was a sequel to the Yul Brynner?
Yes, there was.
Oh, that's interesting.
And I think it starred, who's the young Fonda?
Peter.
Yeah, I think it stars Peter Fonda. It was such an interesting movie that a popular TV show at the time, The $6 Million Man, started to incorporate a lot of cyborg robots because everyone loved the special effects of, the face comes off and there's a robot underneath. Oh my God.
Oh yeah, I remember wanting that toy when I was that age. They were advertising it constantly in all of the Sunday morning Sunday newspaper.
And Andre the Giant portrayed a Bigfoot on the $6 Million Man.
Oh wow, I knew there was a Bigfoot. I did not know it was him.
Oh yeah. And turned out that the Bigfoot is basically a giant alien cyborg. So close to conspiracy theories. I have a friend who is a big conspiracy nut, and apparently Bigfoot, or the one of the conspiracy theories is that Bigfoot is sort of like henchman creatures for the Greys that came and settled in UFOs. So, and the Bigfoot was so popular. To give you an idea, I was an Eagle Scout at the time, and I decided that what I would do is I would do a Noah's Ark themed mural for the nursery that they were building next to the Catholic school as part of my Eagle project. My dad's idea. My dad is full of great ideas. I was doing murals back then. I was like 13 or so. And so I went to the school and said, I want you guys all to draw animals. If I like some of these animals, I'll draw them as is up on the wall. I ended up putting up somebody's zebra because someone drew some really cute zebras. But a good third of the submissions put in by the boys was Bigfoot.
That is very cool.
Well, considering it was a Catholic school, I thought so.
No, it's funny. I've been reading way too many articles about how that stupid Ken Ham attraction in Kentucky is going. I'd love to see that idiot's reaction. I mean, he has enough trouble trying to explain away the dinosaurs.
So that's why the Bigfoot on the $6 Million Man, well, there was an additional episode where Bigfoot was going crazy in the woods, and the $6 Million Man goes to investigate because, you know, him and Bigfoot, they're friends now. Turns out that the aliens have left, and they left Bigfoot behind, but the Bigfoot was going through a metamorphosis from turning from cybernetic into genetic. So he was half robot, half person, and someone had accidentally woken him up. So he was a little confused. And our hero's job was to put him back to sleep. Once again, Andre the Giant.
Mm.
So have you guys heard the rumor that Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson will be running for president?
I have not.
Well, I know Ron Perlman has been saying that he's running for president, but I think, and he's had several posts to that effect, but I think he's kind of being very spoofy about it. So I was listening to this source. It was from on the show called Wait, Wait, Don't Tell Me on NPR.
Uh-huh.
And one of the commentators kept making movie references, and they're saying, no, that's not The Rock, that's Vin Diesel. And then you say, well, wasn't he also in? And they say, no, that's not The Rock, that's Vin Diesel. No, that's not The Rock, that's Vin Diesel. Which was relatively amusing.
Almost insulting to Dwayne, considering he's been having such a good acting career. You almost forget that he started out as a wrestler.
My wife plays an application on her phone every day that's sort of like a word jumble, and they have themes. And it's very seldom that she calls me in for help, but it was on wrestling.
Mm-hmm.
And I didn't know wrestlers, but apparently I know more wrestlers than her, so they were the more classic.
Uh-huh.
You know.
So, for example?
Andre the Giant.
Yeah.
Hulk Hogan.
Of course.
Roddy Piper.
Mm-hmm.
Well, let's see. There was one of the relatively newer guys, Undertaker. Who's the one that has all the memes about Cena?
Memes?
Yeah, people will be putting together a little video, creating suspense, and you would expect something more traditional pop in, and then instead they pop in this intro for this wrestler, Mike Sena, or something like that.
I'm afraid my wrestling trivia kind of peters out after the late 80s. I still remember the blow that finding out for real that wrestling was fake was almost as big a blow as Santa Claus was.
I was never a big wrestling fan.
Fan's not really the right word, but it was one of those things you sort of watched on Saturday morning.
Maybe you, sir. Didn't keep me there. But I keep remembering you're a little younger than I am.
I mean, I kind of got back into it briefly as I told myself that, yeah, it's fake, but look at it kind of like soap operas for men.
So, Bill, will you be attending the Graphic Artists Guild Western Region? Oh, pardon me, no, it's not a Western Region thing. It's a online seminar. Hop onto the roller coaster: How to Become a Successful Freelance Illustrator with Don Mitchell.
I was planning to. I'm signed up for it anyway.
I have something else scheduled that day, so I won't be able to attend.
Yeah, I mean, I really regret missing the last one, just because it happened to be in the middle of my vacation. I mean, I was tempted to see if I could watch it then, but I didn't know what the day's schedule was, and considering, as you remember, how bad my reception was when I did try to do one of those things during the vacation.
Well, do you ever go back and watch the old seminars? Because I do that a lot.
Not yet. I know I should.
Yeah, I do that because they always send me a link afterwards saying, "Oh, here's the seminar you missed," and that kind of prompts me to go in and take a look at it. Yeah, it's kind of nice to be part of the action so that you can ask a question.
Mm-hmm. Because there was a few on that topic that I definitely wanted to ask questions about, and I found a lot of it of that topic very relevant, since I know a lot of people who do fan art semi-professionally.
For those of you who are listening in and watching this, Bill and I are talking about the Graphic Artists Guild, which is a organization for that's an advocacy organization for graphic artists. Basically, if you're a creative professional, a photographer, an illustrator, a graphic recorder, a designer, a cartoonist, this is a group that advocates for your artist's rights on Capitol Hill. It's one of the few groups out there that still does that. Most tend to be just talking about trends and not doing anything political. This group is strongly political and has been very effective in protecting artists' rights. One of the benefits of being a membership is, I think, only like about $200 a year, is that you can participate or have access to these online seminars They happen every month. And just like Epic Sketch Time, there's usually a chapter in a national teleconference that you can attend if you want to, where you can ask questions on various topics. But those seminars are really worth it, because when I first joined the industry, I would go to luncheons all the time. And I'd be SOL if I missed the luncheon. I'd have to wait another month.
I miss the luncheons.
I miss the luncheons too. And part of the reasons why the various regions stopped doing lunches is venues became too expensive. You needed a minimum head count. When I first joined, a lunch was held at the Swedish Club in Seattle and was $7.50.
Oh, wow.
So it was extremely affordable. Well, this was back when the group was the SBGA, not the Graphic Artists Guild. And let me tell you, there was some big fuss when we moved away from the Swedish Club, because people were saying, "I'm tired of having ham on a croissant. I want something a little bit better for lunch." And we went to Triples instead, and you're paying $10 for a lunch rather than $7 for a lunch, or it's $6.50. I would have been just happy at the Swedish Club, but I was a big part. I got outvoted, and we did lose some of the crowd because of it. I remember there was a time period where we were test trying a lot of different locations.
Mm.
One of the least successful was this Chinese restaurant that we went to. One of the most successful locations for us was the Space Needle,
Oh,
which has a lower level. Instead of going all the way up to the top, you'd eat at a lower level. And that was great because, they had lots of parking nearby. You had to pay for parking, but there was lots of parking available. Less parking for the Columbia Tower Club, though the food was far superior. And
I have fond memories of that one. I had a really cool experience looking down on a soaring eagle.
were you there at the luncheon when there was a blimp, and the blimp was eye level to where we were in the building?
No.
Oh, that was hilarious. That was the last time Kevin Brockschmidt came to a guild luncheon. I was with him when we went back to the parking lot, and his truck had been broken into.
Oh, I think you told me about that bit.
Yeah, he was not a happy camper.
I do not blame him.
And I'm really surprised anyone broke into his car, because it was a really ratty looking truck. But he had made the mistake of leaving a t-shirt on the back seat. So naturally someone breaks in to see what's underneath the t-shirt or in the t-shirt, because it looks like a piece of clothing, and clothing has pockets, and there might be money in pockets.
Gentlemen, I'm taking off a couple minutes early. I hope to see you next week.
Okay, you have a good one.
Take care.
Bill, I've reached a stopping point, and I need to make a phone call and do an email, so I think this might be a good point for us to call it an end for today.
Okay, but briefly, how does this look so far? I know I've probably been spending way too much time on the sunflowers, but otherwise, I'm mostly happy with it.
I think to get the chairs to be recognized as horses' heads,
Yes.
the nostrils need to look less like a camel's nostril.
Okay.
And I would add like a mane coming down from the top of the armchair, almost like a fabric pattern or something.
Right.
But I don't know if you want to do that or not because of the amount of detail that would entail.
Right.
I'm not reading the animal head as a horse head.
Right. I was sort of basing it on some old Greek statues I remember at the RISD Art Museum, but I can probably need to look at them a second time.
Well, I think part of the reason is you got a sleeve resting on top of them. But I'm glad you decided to take my suggestion and put in horse heads there.
Okay.
Well, sir,
Anyway.
I will look forward to seeing you next week.
Okay, you have a good one.
You too, sir. Bye-bye.
Bye.
You have been watching Epic Sketch Time. If you'd like to participate on Epic Sketch Time, please contact me on Twitter @Mark Monlux. That's MarkMonlux. Again, Suzanne, sorry that I couldn't get you in this event. If you guys are going to be signing up via Google Hangout, if you can, with your profile picture, have a picture on your profile rather than the plain silhouette, especially if your name's common. Otherwise, when I try to add you, I get too many options popping up. The best thing, the absolute best thing, is to send me your Gmail address. I can just pop that straight in and I'll get to you every time. And my apologies for those that I didn't get to invite in. I really need to work more on getting a cut and paste list. I can just put people in. Wish it was more automatic, but this is all free and we're doing it all for fun, so we're doing our best. See you next week.